gentlemen, welcome back to the eFlexonics Podcast Network Show. Today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a different approach to technology. We're going to be talking about two things that can blend so well together. One is cooking, and one is new media. And I want to talk. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about new media. We're going to talk about how to podcast and broadcast yourself, and we're going to talk about communication over the internet. Now, you caught me at the beginning of the show glancing through a fantastic cookbook. And I'm going to hold the cookbook up to the camera, and it's entitled My Treasured Recipes. And it was actually completely written by a member of our family. Her name is Shirley. And Shirley and Colin has had us over for dinner countless number of times. And let me put her gift of cooking into perspective for you. My wife and I last September went on a cruise ship, Celebrity Cruise Lines, and they are known for their unbelievable cooking and service and the whole thing. We went to the Alaska cruise. So you can imagine the seafood and all the stuff. And there was a specialty restaurant that you had to pay extra for to go into, and it was fairly pricey, but the food was beyond magnificent. Shirley, the person that wrote this cookbook and baking, you could take one of those chefs out of that cruise ship in that really expensive restaurant, pop Shirley in there, and you would not be able to tell the difference of who was cooking. That's how good she is. You know, when you meet a person and you see their gift, and they wear their gift so naturally, and it's what they were designed to do ever since they were a little kid. Well, this is Shirley's gift, let me tell you. Now, let me also tell you that Shirley is not a technical person. She used, I forget what program, I'm even going to have to find out, but she put this together by herself. And I'll tell you, she put the graphics together, and I'll hold it up to the camera. She put the graphics together, she put all the pages together, she did the table of contents, she did all of it. She took it and got it bound professionally. And you know why she did this? I think it was just an elegant idea. She did this to leave a legacy to her children and her grandchildren. What a beautiful gift. So the other day, I was thinking, you know, there are so many good cooks. I've never met a better cook than Shirley. There are so many good cooks out there that could do this, and they might not think they have the ability or the intelligence to do that. She did this all by herself. So kudos to you, Shirley. Now let's take this a step further. As you all know, here's a little bit of techie stuff. If you had to have heard about the iPad by now, not the iPod. This is an iPod, and I'll show you. This is a touchscreen iPod like the iPhone, right? And it's a handy-dandy little device, and it's wireless. Apple has come out with a 10-inch version of this, like big, right? And they call it the iPad, and it will do what the iPod will do and more. It'll be a magazine reader. It'll be, actually, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to change the way people consume their new media. That means text. You can download a book on it and read it and flip the pages when you swipe. When you swipe on the iPod, the page turns. They're going to be audio podcasts that you'll be able to download to your iPad, just like an iPhone or an iTouch. There will be video capability that you can actually watch videos on the iPad. Now, when you stop and think about this is a wonderful idea. But let's have some fun with technology. Let's take it one step further. Christmas time, I took this little handy dandy Vado camera. I paid $129 about 9 months ago now. And this is a high def camera, and the sound isn't bad, but the picture quality is exceptional. And what we did is I videoed all the goings on in the house for Christmas. For example, we brine our birds, our turkeys, in brown sugar and salt, and we soak them for 12 hours to brine them, to make them really, really tender. And then I put the turkeys on the grill. I barbecue the turkeys every single Christmas, and people just love it. So we thought we'd try that brining, and it turned out so well. And then we took apples and walnuts, and we stuffed the inside of the turkey instead of stuffing. And I took wood chips, and I soaked the wood chips in apple juice. I had apple wood chips, soaked them in apple juice, then put them in the barbecue, and it smoked it as well. Well, I put it on here. Then I did a podcast, and I put it on the internet on the Flixonics webpage. Shirley sent me a comment. She said, loved what you did. Absolutely loved what you did with that video. The birds turned out beautifully. Good job. And I was thinking, she's got a cookbook. She's got one of the best. Matter of fact, she's got two. Here, look, take a look. She's got My Treasured Recipes 2. So she's got two of these delightful books, and they're thick. If you went into a store, you would expect to pay, no fooling, $30 to $40 to $50 for this cookbook in a store. You can't get it in stores. It was a legacy left to her children and her grandchildren. So I'm thinking, if a person went out and got one of these Votto cameras and took it to, say, the produce store, say, for example, Shirley did this, and she took it to the produce store and she scanned all the produce that she handpicked for a recipe. And then she went to her favorite butcher, and she videotaped the butcher giving her the meat and picking out the meat, and videotaping the butcher saying, look, to cook this meat properly, you should do this, little tips and tricks. And then you took this home, and you had someone, your spouse or your friend or a relative, someone videotape you while you're preparing the food. Now, the game changes, doesn't it? You've got a wonderful book here. But now, with the advantage of new media, you can put it on videotape. So, when the grandchildren are all grown up, they can actually watch their grandmother in her kitchen picking out the fruit and vegetables, the meat, the breads, and then taking all of the ingredients to make her own bread, and then taking it home and videotaping that. Now, that becomes, ladies and gentlemen, a live document. This is two-dimensional. You've got a book, and you can open it up, and you can read, and you can follow the directions. That's great. That is just fabulous, and my hat's off to her. But when you videotape it, aha! Now here's another advantage. Think of this with me. So say, for example, Shirley has relatives in England, and they haven't seen her for a long time. As a matter of fact, say Shirley has an aunt, a cousin, and a mother or relatives, and she wants to show them what she's doing in the kitchen because she's really, really good at it. So you load it up into YouTube videos for nothing. YouTube is free, by the way. As long as you keep it under 10 minutes, and you can do one 10-minute section here and one 10-minute section here and go part 1, part 2, part 3. Now you can put it up on a blog for free, wordpress.blog, and any one of her family members can watch her cooking. Isn't that fantastic? So what we've done is we've taken an old form of media, which is the printed page, turned it into using new media, using audio, sound, and video, and then uploaded it to the internet for everyone to enjoy. Now, if you just only want your family members, to be able to see the video, you can put in a password there on that blog site, so only those people with the password can see your videos. If you want to share it with the world, just don't put a password in. I think this is one of the most amazing things, the most amazing concepts that we've had in the past 20 or 30 years. Now, add that to the fact that the iPad is coming out. Do you know what this is going to do? Do you have any idea how this is going to change things? Now, let's consider the iPad is 10 inches, right? It's a portable device. It is a wireless device. You can get anything off the internet as long as you've got a router in your home or wireless access. You can download any video or watch any video, right? So say, for example, Shirley does one of these recipes on video. Now, one of her friends can take the iPad into her kitchen, and the iPad's touch controlled, right? You just touch it on the screen to start and stop the video. So her friends now can follow her along exactly what she does and how she cooks it, because there's always little tips and tricks that a chef or a cook will do. And you can prop it up, the iPad there, and then start it and stop the video. Well, you've got a small little television portable that you can put in your kitchen and follow along and do the recipes right as it's happening. You have your own personal chef helper right there. What could be more amazing? You know, here's the thing. I said to Shirley a while back, I said, Shirley, what would you do? Would you, if you knew of somebody that had a great cookbook, and I mean a fabulous cookbook, and you knew that they were a good cook, would you buy it? She said, absolutely. Now, let me tell you a little story about this book. We have these books on our coffee table in our home. And more often than not, we noticed a strange phenomenon. People would come in and they would pick up the book. And it's beautifully, if you didn't know better, you would think that this has already been published by a major publication house and sitting in a bookstore. And they would leaf through these pages. And then they would, for about 5 minutes, you couldn't talk to the people for about 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden they would stop. They'd close the book. And then they'd say, where can I buy this book? Where can I get this book? I want this book. And I'll bet you 95% of the people that came over and saw this book couldn't help but open it and ask that question. Well, I'll tell you, it makes me feel good knowing that someone with a, and I mean, this is a real gift. When you take a look at this, the gift shines through. So think about that. If you're a cook, if you're a mechanic, if you're taking care of birds with an aviary, if you do anything and you have a gift, please think about sharing a gift with the world, because with the addition of the iPad, and it's launching in a couple of days, it's going to revolutionize the way people view and consume their media. Doctors will have them, lawyers will have them, insurance corporations will have them, anybody that does any presentations will have them. Do you know that you can take this iPad, 10-inch, and now they've got a remote control that you hook into it, and you can control your TV, your audio, video, your satellite boxes. You can take and control all of your security cameras in your home or business through your Wi-Fi network. I mean, wow, what a wonderful device. Now, you can go and take a glass of lemonade and take your iPad out to the backyard and watch Shirley's cooking show, or Joe the Mechanic's, or Joe the Plumber's, what he does. If you're a handyman, put it on video. You owe the world your gift. And I think you should share it. And you know, when you're on video and you show it this way, people really can clearly see the passion. And I think, you know, this is too important to put under wraps. It really is. Shirley, you got one of the best gifts I've ever seen because it's consumable, goes in the tummy. And cooking is such a social thing. It is so beautiful. When you sit down to a good meal, think about all the times in your life where you've sat down with friends and you've had food. Didn't food really complete the experience? Because you're nurturing not only your soul when you're visiting with people, you're nurturing your tummy. All the tastes, the textures, the smells, all from around the world. It is just fantastic. Now, let's move on. To complement that, I want to take your attention to, and I'll put up a web link on the website. There's a fellow out there called Gary Vaynerchuk, and I've got his book called Crush It, and it's in audio format. If you want to pick this book up, go to audible.com. I'll also put the link up to the website for audible.com. I got his book, and it's a book on business, and it is one of the most amazing books on business I have ever seen. He's a great guy. He's a wine taster. And what he does is, and the reason I'm combining Gary Vaynerchuk with Shirley is because wine goes so perfectly with food. Gary will sit there, and he's got a camera there, and he's got the lights and stuff, and he's got a whole bunch of different wines on his show, and he will pour one, and he will swirl it around, and he will take a sniff, and he'll swish it around in his mouth, and the microphones are picking up all these swishy noises, and then he's got a spit bucket here in the form of a helmet from the Jets, the Jets team, and he'll spit in it. Well, he's phenomenally successful. And I mean, anybody that's thinking of doing what Gary Vaynerchuk does, if you can go on the internet, sit in front of a camera and spit into a bucket on the internet, listen, it takes guts, it takes dedication, it takes a great business plan, and it takes passion. And go to Wine Library TV. I'll put the link up. You got to see this guy. But he just sits there and he turns on the camera and he just shows you his passion. He just tells you his story. That's all there is to it. It's just to tell you the story. Anyone can do this. I promise you. Anyone can do this. So I wanted to combine in the show the old media of paper, right? Beautiful paper-bound books. And new media. So this is Rick Haaland for eFlexonics. I hope you enjoy the shows. And if you have a comment, or if you want to, tell you what, if you want to get a hold of Shirley about the book, send me a link at eflexonics@gmail.com. I'm sure she'd love to talk to you about her experience, even if she's not going to publish the book, which I think she should. But consider this. Consider this now. Okay, so you go to publish a book, and it's going to cost you several $1,000s to publish it with a nice cover like this. Or she's already got it in digital form. She's already got it on a computer. She could sell it online and charge 1/4 of the price and still give you a beautiful product. So say, for example, would you pay $10 for this book online? I know I would. And she even admitted, she says, oh, she definitely would. She buys a whole bunch of cookbooks. And you know for sure there are millions of people out there that feel the same way Shirley does. If there's a cook out there that's doing something exciting, different, or passionate, you don't pay them for their skills, you pay them for their passion. Because once they have a passion, they have a love for what they do. And as soon as you have a love for what you do, guess what? You've got one of the best products in the world, because you're selling yourself, you're selling your product, you're combining them, and you're on fire for it. And that's exactly what Shirley has done with this cookbook. So it doesn't matter what you do. I'm using Shirley as an example. If you want to get in on the new medium, especially because of the launch of the iPad, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be fantastic if you did something on video, you put it up on the internet, and all of a sudden one of your friends phones you and say, hey, that link you sent me with your video, I've got it on my iPad, I show it to people, they absolutely love it. It could be you. And that's the honest truth. It could be you, and it's very, very easy. If you don't think it's easy, give me an email. I'll tell you exactly how easy it is. It's like falling off a log. You see, the audio and the video and the planning and the preparation is secondary. It's the message. If you get your message out, it will travel, it will go viral, people will love it, and it will blossom. It will mushroom into something that you can attract other people that have the exact same hobbies and skills and passions that you do. And you know what? Then you'll find some newfound friends. This is Rick Haaland for the eFlexonics podcast show. So glad of you to come and join me on these wonderful shows. If you have a comment, go up to the bottom of our page, leave a comment. Otherwise, give us an email at eflexonics.com. Thanks, folks. We'll talk to you next show. Bye-bye.